The rain had already washed away the blood from the street, but it could not erase the cruelty that had happened there. People hurried past, pretending not to notice the broken young woman lying beside the road as though she were invisible. Her trembling hands clutched the soaked earth, her face bruised beyond recognition, and every painful breath seemed like a silent plea to a world that had stopped caring. Just when it looked as though hope itself had abandoned her, a line of horses came to a stop beside her. The most feared Alpha King unmounted his horse in the pouring rain. The ruthless man whose name made everyone tremble froze the moment he saw the helpless stranger. No one could have imagined that the most dangerous man in the territory was about to make the kindest decision of his life. Her name was Celine Hart, a 27-year-old woman whose life had once been filled with simple dreams. She had grown up on a quiet farm, where her late grandmother taught her that kindness was never wasted, even when the world seemed unfair. After graduating from healing school, Celine worked long shifts caring for elderly neighbors, children, and warriors. She never expected an easy life. She only wanted a peaceful life built on honest work and compassion. But life changed when the clinic forced healers to falsify medical records to hide immoral activities. Celine refused. She reported what she knew to authorities, believing justice would protect innocent people. Instead, the information leaked. Those responsible discovered her identity before the investigation could even begin. Within days, she lost her position. Threatening messages came from strangers. Friends stopped answering her calls, terrified they would become targets themselves. Even then, Celine refused to withdraw her statement. She believed truth mattered more than fear. That belief almost cost her life. On a bright afternoon that slowly turned stormy, several masked men dragged her into an abandoned cabin. They demanded she admit she had lied. When she refused, they beat her mercilessly, stole everything she owned, and threw her into the rain beside the road, convinced she would not survive the night. As thunder echoed across the sky, a convoy of horses approached. They belonged to Andrew Voss, the most feared Alpha King. People described him as cold-hearted, calculating, and impossible to deceive. Everyone feared his name. Rival packs disappeared whenever they challenged him. His convoy almost passed without stopping. Then Andrew noticed something unusual through the rain. A hand moved slightly near the roadside. Without hesitation, he ordered everyone to stop. His guards were stunned as he walked directly into a ditch kneeling beside an unconscious woman. When he saw her face, something deep inside him awakened. Andrew had spent years convincing himself compassion only created weakness. Yet seeing Celine lying abandoned caused his wolf to whimper. He carefully lifted her into his arms. Instead of taking her to the public healers where enemies could easily find her, Andrew brought her to his castle, where trusted healers worked in complete secrecy. He knew this was the result of an attack and wanted her away from the danger. For days, Celine remained unconscious while healers fought to save her life. Broken ribs, internal injuries, severe dehydration, and countless bruises told the story her silent body could not. Andrew visited her chamber every morning before attending meetings. He rarely spoke, simply watched her chest rise and fall. His guards whispered among themselves because they had never seen their ruthless alpha show concern for anyone. When Celine finally opened her eyes, confusion filled her face. The elegant bedroom, expensive furniture, and unfamiliar ceiling felt unreal. She believed she had died. As memories slowly returned, fear followed. She expected another trap. Instead, healers treated her gently. Warm meals arrived on time. They monitored her recovery. No one demanded anything from her. Andrew entered quietly late in the afternoon. His expression remained unreadable, but his voice carried surprising calm. He explained that she was safe and could stay until she recovered, and that nobody would force her to leave before she regained her strength. But Celine didn't trust him. She had heard countless stories about the feared Alpha King, yet actions slowly spoke louder than rumors. Weeks passed. She noticed Andrew always ate alone. She noticed photographs of a smiling little girl in his study. She noticed servants at his castle respected him rather than feared him. There were still dark secrets surrounding his kingdom, but there was also humanity hidden beneath years of rumors. Celine couldn't sit still, so she went to work with the castle's healers. She also worked closely with the orphanage. She was even able to reunite families with pups they had abandoned years earlier. Her compassion quietly transformed lives that fear never could. Andrew watched these changes with disbelief. He had spent decades ruling through intimidation and dominance. Celine accomplished greater loyalty simply by believing people could become better. One sunny morning, the courtyard gardens bloomed beneath clear blue skies. Children from the orphanage visited. Celine laughed while teaching them simple first aid skills. Andrew observed from a distance. For the first time since losing his sister, he smiled without forcing it. Let us know what you think about our story, and if you enjoy it, click subscribe so you'll receive notifications when a new audio from Alpha Love Stories Original gets uploaded. Now back to the story. But peace never lasts forever. The wolves responsible for attacking Celine learned she had survived. Terrified that she might still testify against them, they launched an aggressive search across the territory. Several attempts were made to locate her, and the corrupt group finally discovered Celine's location. Knowing the Alpha was dangerous and the castle was heavily guarded, they reached out to their allies. This needed to be a calculated mission. Spies within the castle were able to report Celine's exact daily routine. This allowed them to plan the best time for extraction. But little did they know the Alpha has an incredible sense of detection. He noticed things most do not. That day he noticed an unusual presence and smell. He alerted his beta to quietly lock down the castle and place all the guards on high alert. One of the guards came back with a stranger. "What are you doing in my castle?" the king commanded in answer. The wolf looked at him and refused to speak. "Maybe you haven't heard what I do to wolves who do not cooperate," he said as his hand starts to transform into a claw. He presses one of his long claws to the man's jaw. "Speak now, or you'll never speak again." "I am here with the Staten Pack. I'm only following orders," he stammers. "And what are your orders?" the king says impatiently. "To find the young healer and bring her back." A flash of gold crosses Andrew's eyes. "Throw him in the dungeon." Andrew turns and runs down the hall towards Celine's chambers. If anything happens to her, he will kill them all. As he enters her chamber, he sees two wolves have found her. One has a handful of her hair, dragging her, and the other one is yelling at her to shut up, or he'll do it for her. The king launches before either wolf has time to react. His claws meet flesh, and they both fall to the ground limp. "Come with me." "The castle has been compromised," he says as he takes her hand. He leads her through the castle and then through a secret stairwell. The stairwell goes underground and stops at a tunnel. "Can you still walk?" he turns to ask her. "Yes," she says, breathing heavily from traveling the stairs. This tunnel leads to a cabin outside of the castle. There are weapons, food, but most importantly, no one knows about it, and there's no outside path to the cabin. Go there and wait for me. Lock the door and only answer to my voice. If I am not back by morning, gather supplies and head north." "No, I can't leave you," she says, frightened by the thought of him leaving. "You will wait here until I get back." "They are looking for you and they will not find you," he says, and turns and goes up the stairs. Celine is at a loss of what to do. She is a healer. She is not a fighter. Andrew is known for being the most dangerous alpha in all the territories, but he is not invincible. What if something happens to him? Celine decides it is best to go down the tunnel for now. She has a pang of regret. A battle was started because of her. She should have told the king what she knew, but she was afraid. She had already reported it to the authorities, and it only got her put in a ditch to die. Plus, she thought maybe the king was involved. It seems the group has a lot of influence and have somehow been able to run the operation for many years unnoticed. And now, it seemed like members of the castle were in on it. Maybe she shouldn't be here when the king gets back. Maybe it would be best for her to go. But where would she go? How would she know she was safe? As Celine is sitting in the cabin, the king's voice comes through the door. Celine, I am here. Open the door. Celine is afraid, but she's more afraid of what the king might do if she doesn't open the door for him. He's powerful enough to tear it open. She opens the door and steps back. The king steps forward and then falls to his hands and knees. Your Majesty, where are you hurt? Celine's healer instincts kick in and fear leaves her thoughts. I am fine. I need to sit for a moment, he says roughly. You are not fine, she says as she ignores the danger and rushes to access his injuries. Besides small scratches, she finds a large gash across his abdomen. There are traces of silver along the edge. We must get you to the healer's chambers now so I can apply treatment to the wound. Let me help you. I'm not sure you can. He breathed, exhausted, adrenaline wearing off. Yes, we shall walk together. Use me as a crutch as we go up the stairs. The king used all his strength to get back to his feet, and he wrapped his arm around Celine's shoulders. Let's do this, he said as he moved forward. He grunted with each step but was able to get to the first floor where they called out for help. Guards came and helped the king to the healer's chambers where he collapsed on a bed. Celine worked quickly to apply salve to draw out the silver. Once his breathing steadied and she was sure the silver was gone, she applied herbs to prevent infection and close the wound. The next day, Celine noticed Andrew staring at her. She was writing notes, reporting everything she observed and performed. I'm happy to report you are doing well, my king. The silver was extracted and the wound is free from infection. He looked at her. Why were those men trying to take you? Celine sighed and told him the story. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. I was afraid you were involved. I honestly didn't know who I could trust. I can leave right away. You're not leaving, he said matter-of-factly, and I can understand why you couldn't trust anyone. But as you can see, I will not allow corruption into my castle, and now that I know it is in my kingdom, it will be stopped. Celine felt somewhat relieved, but she was so leery of what was to come. So what happens now? The group who came into the castle have been apprehended. We have names of packs that are involved. We will gather evidence and consequences will be met. But you are safe now. We will stay on high alert until all parties face justice. You will continue your work as a healer and as a member of the castle. Celine was overwhelmed. Thank you, Your Majesty. It means so much to be able to help people. I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate you, the king said honestly. Somehow on the day I was riding back to the castle, I saw you when no one else did. Somehow I felt drawn to you. I couldn't pass by and leave without taking you with me. And I still feel that way. I feel like I can't let you leave. I need you here by my side. I've watched you over the weeks, and I know this is probably not the right time, but my wolf wants to be with your wolf. Every time I see you, he leaps for joy. Celine's eyes widened. She blushed and said, My wolf feels the same way. I ignore it, but it seems to get worse the longer I am here. Andrew smiles. Maybe we should let our wolves play sometimes. Celine laughs nervously. That is very tempting. I would like to court you properly, Celine. That is, if you will have me. He says seriously, but with a twinkle in his eye. Celine's mind races. This is all so sudden. Just weeks ago, she was a lowly healer, minding her own business, living a quiet life, and now she's in the castle, and the most dangerous Alpha King is laying in a bed before her and wants to court her. Are you sure your head is not injured? Celine says, as if that would explain everything. Not at all. My mind is as clear as can be, and I know what I want. My wolf wants you and I want you, but only if you choose me. Celine thinks this must be a fairy tale, but she thinks through the years she's lost so much that it's time for something good to come her way. A joy fills her heart, and she looks down at Andrew and says, I would be delighted for you to court me. A large smile crosses Andrew's lips, and he reaches for Celine's hand. As they touch, they feel sparks. Electricity shoots through their hands, and their wolves leap for joy. Celine, I may be the most dangerous alpha in the territory, but you have made me the happiest alpha in the territory. I will always protect you, and you will always be mine, forever. Thanks for listening. If we can do anything better, let us know in the comments and click subscribe so we can continue to offer audio stories from Alpha Love Stories Original.